My queen, I need you to hear me right now. Because if you stay silent any longer, I don't trust myself with what I might do next. This isn't a game. This isn't just another late night thought. This is me standing on the edge, holding back something that could change everything. Do you know what it feels like to have 100 thoughts crashing in your head all at once, while waiting for one reply that never comes? Every second feels heavier, every pause feels louder, and I keep asking myself, why aren't you answering me? Here's the truth. Your silence isn't just silence anymore. It feels like a test. And if it is a test, then I don't know if I'm strong enough to pass. Because when I don't hear from you, my mind races to places it shouldn't go, to choices I know I'll regret, to actions that can't be undone. I found something I shouldn't have earlier today. A note, a small piece of writing that wasn't meant for me. And the words in it, well, they don't leave my head. They say, sometimes silence is the loudest answer. And now I'm terrified. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because if it is, then I don't know how long I can hold myself together. If silence means stay away, if silence means you're too late, then tell me now before I do something reckless. My queen, I need your voice, your words, your reply. Because every second without them pushes me closer to a line I swore I'd never cross. Do you understand? I'm not asking for a poem. I'm not asking for a speech. I just need something, even one word. Because one word from you could stop me, and no word at all could push me into the kind of choice that leaves scars forever. Someone told me once that when you ignore the person who loves you most, you don't just break their heart, you unlock a part of them they didn't even know existed. And I'm starting to feel that part waking up in me. The side that doesn't think, the side that just acts. My queen, answer me before I lose that fight with myself. Because right now, it feels like the only thing standing between me and something dangerous is you. My queen, I can feel the edge drawing closer now. The stupid thing I'm dangerous to try is not loud or violent. It's smaller, but no less real. It's the kind of move that burns bridges and leaves no map back. And every minute you stay quiet, that plan grows louder inside me. First, know this. I'm not proud of the thought. I don't want to scare you, but the truth is, I'm thinking of leaving everything behind and walking until I can't be found. Not to run from you, but to run from the weight of waiting. That sounds extreme, I know, but when silence stretches like a road with no end, people do things to feel something again. Leaving is easier than facing the empty phone. When I imagine walking away, I imagine a small bag, a train ticket bought with cash, and a night with no calls. The idea of a clean break can feel like freedom for a second, but freedom built on silence becomes a prison later. Then there's another dangerous thought. I picture myself confronting someone who hurt you, not in a fight, but in a scene I replay again and again in my head. I see myself saying hard words, blaming, demanding answers. And after those words, there's no fixing. That kind of action changes who we are forever. Confrontation can look like courage, but it often hides fear. When people act out of panic, they hurt the very thing they wanted to protect. I know that. But the anger that waits in my chest is loud tonight. Now the third scary idea. I could erase traces of us from the places that remind me of you, delete photos, burn notes, throw away things that keep memory alive. The thought is cold and final. It's a stupid, clean action that feels like control in a world where I feel helpless. But control at that price is a different kind of loss. Those small erasures look like solution at first, but later they feel like theft. You can't steal back time by burning paper. You only make the empty place louder. Then there's the gamble I think about in quiet rooms. I might post one message, a loud, public line about how tired I am of waiting. It would pull people in, make others choose sides, and force the conversation into the open. It could fix things by making truth loud, or it could explode everything, making the hurt public and raw. Public pain is messy and sharp. Going loud brings allies and enemies both. The people who rush to help might actually make things worse without meaning to. The ones who step back might judge instead of understand. Once it's public, we ride whatever the world gives us. Terrorzetters Habsud. Now think about the quiet danger. Doing nothing, sitting, breathing, holding a hand in the dark, and not asking for what we need. That silence slowly eats the edges of us. Over time, it turns small breaks into permanent cracks. Sometimes the stupid thing is to let the silence win. Every action has a cost. Leaving buys space but loses closeness. Confrontation may bring answers but creates walls. Erasing memories gives a clean slate, but steals history. Going public brings help but also pain. Doing nothing lets hurt grow until it cannot be fixed. I tried to plan a safer move. Instead, I wrote a letter that said what I feel without the heat of a text. I folded it, put it where you would find it when your hands were free, and walked away to calm my voice, so I wouldn't say something stupid out loud. The idea was to let words breathe on paper, not burn in a screen. When I came back, the letter was moved, not read, not torn, just moved to a drawer with other small things. That quiet act felt like rejection. It was louder than a shouted answer. It told me that maybe silence is not empty. Maybe it's a choice. Then I tried a small test. I left my phone down and stepped into the next room, hoping you would send one word to stop me. Anything. I counted heartbeats. I replayed memories. I listened for the sound of your reply. The seconds crawled. Each tick felt heavier than the last. In that quiet, I realized how many small moments shape the big ones. A light left on, a mug in the sink, a certain song on the radio. These small things hold meaning. If you answer, you can calm the storm with the smallest line. If you don't, the storm gathers. Now the dangers shift. I got a call from someone I shouldn't have answered. It was a voice that said, "Are you alone?" My hand shook. I thought about telling them to go away, but curiosity and fear mixed, and I told a half-truth. That half-truth hung heavy, like a stone tied to a promise. Small choices like that open doors we didn't plan. When you act without thinking, you give others the shape of your fear, and fear is something they can use. So now I sit on the edge of three paths again. One involves leaving tonight and losing the chance to speak again. One involves stepping into a fight that might make you safe, or might make you gone. One is to say nothing and hope the quiet heals us. All are dangerous. All are stupid if done without you. I picked up the phone to make a move, and my thumb froze over the screen. The place where I was about to press send showed a single unsent line. I can't do this alone. My chest tightened. That message could call for help, or it could call for an end. So now you are the reason I wait. Your reply can stop me from doing something I will later hate. Your silence can push me into action that changes us forever. The clock is soft in my ears, but it keeps moving. My queen, my thumb hovered, frozen above the send button. For a beat I imagined the sound of the message leaving, a small click that would change the shape of the night. I wanted help. I wanted a breath, a line, anything that would put the fight back into calm. Instead, the room felt so loud I could hear my own pulse. Then something broke the silence. Not a soft sound, but a sudden heavy noise from outside. Glass tinkled in the alley like a small bell. Then a shout cut through the air. My head snapped up. The world that had been narrowing to my phone widened all at once. The shout was not angry. It sounded like surprise and fear mixed together. People on the street began to talk. Quick words that built into a shape I could not yet name. I pressed my hand to my mouth because I could not tell if the noise was relief or the start of more trouble. I stood and moved to the window very slowly. The streetlight painted the pavement in stripes. A figure leaned over something on the ground, a bicycle or a box. I couldn't tell. Two others crouched nearby, hands waving, heads bent like they were reading something. Someone dropped. No one looked like they wanted to be there. That made my chest tighten. A small paper fluttered across the road and landed at the curb. Someone kicked it aside without looking. I watched it slide and felt a strange pull, as if that scrap might hold the key. I wanted to send you a message about it, to tell you to look out, to tell you to lock the door, but my phone was still heavy in my hand. Then the sound of footsteps came up the stairs. Not the slow step of a neighbor returning, but quick, measured steps that counted like a metronome. I backed away from the window, heart banging. The door to our building clicked, then hummed as something metal moved. My breath shortened because the cadence felt practiced, too practiced. A light flashed twice from below. Not a car light, but a small beam thrown up toward the windows. The beam scanned once, then again, and when it caught the glass near us, it made a thin reflection that moved like an eye. My skin crawled because someone was checking the house, not by accident, but on purpose. I thought about calling out your name, to wake you, to make you say something to stop me doing anything rash. My voice felt small. I swallowed and only heard my own whisper echo back. The sound that finally left me was less than a word and more than a plea. Come on. It was meant for myself as much as for you. A message tone cut through the stair noise. My phone lit up with an unknown sender. The screen showed a single line preview. He shouldn't stay. No context, no sender. The letters sat on the glass like a cold finger. I wanted to smash the phone, to throw it into the sink and run until my legs forgot where home was. Instead, I read the words again. The meaning changed each time I looked. A warning, an order, a threat. My mouth dried because the line could mean many things, and none of them made the night feel safe. Then the knock came at the door. Not hard, not loud, but with the same calm rhythm as the stairs. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. The pattern felt like a code I had heard before in a lifetime of small alarms. I moved toward the door with slow steps, each one heavy. Through the peephole, I saw nothing but a shadow standing too still. No face, just a shape under the dim hallway light. I pressed my forehead to the door and listened. The knocks came again, and this time a soft voice said, "Open up. We just want to help." The tone was smooth, practiced, too easy to trust. My hands shook as I considered the choices: open and risk the truth that may walk in, ignore and risk what might come from silence. Call the number that had just messaged and risk a trick. Each option felt like leaving a door unlocked or setting a trap for ourselves. As I stood there, a second light slipped across the window from the street. A car idled a few houses down, engine whispering, headlights off. Someone in its front seat held a phone up, and the screen glowed. They were watching the house as if waiting for a curtain to move. I pressed my ear to the wood and tried to hear your breathing in the next room. It was steady, a small gift of normal. For a moment I thought to leave the door closed and wake you gently, to tell you to pack a small bag and go, to get out while the knock was only a knock. But the idea of waking you and asking you to run filled me with shame and fear. Then, faint as a moth's wing, I heard your phone vibrate from the corner table. My heart jumped because if you answered now, everything could change. If you stayed silent, if you slept through the sound, everything could still change. The room balanced on a knife. I reached for your phone, not to read your messages, but to put it in my pocket and be ready to move. My fingers touched the glass and the screen lit a single incoming message preview. 3 small dots that meant someone was typing. The dots blinked once, twice, and then froze. And then, in the dark, between blinks, a shadow shifted at the edge of the hallway and a soft, clear voice, not through the door but behind the steps below, said one simple line I was not prepared for. She will answer. The breath left me. The next sound was a soft click, like a lock turning. My queen, the soft click in the lock froze me. My hand stayed on your phone, the glow still fading against my fingers. The knock outside had gone quiet, but the shadow did not move. I felt the silence press against the door like a weight. Then came the sound, the slow twist of metal sliding inside the lock. Someone was trying to open it from the other side. My body tensed. I wanted to shout, to push something heavy against the wood, but my voice caught and my arms refused to move fast enough. Instead, I held my breath and prayed you wouldn't wake up into this moment. The knob turned halfway, then stopped. Whoever it was didn't push, didn't force. They just held it there, as if waiting for me to make the first mistake. The stillness felt worse than a break-in. It felt like a game I didn't know the rules to. I backed away one step, then another. My heel brushed against the edge of the rug and caught slightly, almost sending me to the floor. I bit down hard to keep from making a noise, but the shadow outside must have sensed it, because the knob clicked again. This time it turned all the way. The door creaked open only an inch, just wide enough for air to move, not wide enough for a face to show. A whisper slid through the crack. You don't have much time. The words were soft but sharp, like paper cutting skin. My heart stumbled at the sound. I pressed my back against the wall, clutching your phone so tight my palm hurt. The screen was dark now, but I could still see that last half-written message, frozen in my head, the dots that had blinked and stopped. Who was about to send it? Who wanted you to reply so badly? The door stayed open just that small inch. No hand reached in, no push followed. The whisper faded, leaving only the hum of the car still idling outside. I couldn't tell if the stranger wanted me to follow or to freeze. Every second stretched too long, like the night itself had slowed down to watch. From upstairs, a floorboard groaned. It wasn't you. The sound came from above your room. Someone was already inside the house. My skin turned cold because it meant the danger wasn't only at the door, it was above us, breathing the same air. I wanted to run to you, to shake you awake, to drag you out into the street if I had to. But what if opening your door too fast gave us away? What if the person above was listening for that exact mistake? My chest burned from holding back panic. The whisper came again, sharper this time. Answer her. Do it now. My head spun. Answer who? On whose phone? Your phone still sat in my hand, waiting for a reply that hadn't been written yet. The thought clawed at me. What if replying was the only way to stop this from getting worse? I moved toward your door, holding the phone like a weapon, though I knew it wasn't one. My hand hovered just above the handle when I heard it, the faintest sound of breathing on the other side. Not yours. Too heavy, too slow. Someone else was already in your room. I froze in place, every nerve screaming. The breath was steady, measured, like someone standing still in the dark and waiting. My throat closed up. I couldn't call your name. I couldn't even swallow. I leaned closer, just enough to confirm the sound wasn't my imagination, it was real. As I leaned, your phone lit up again in my palm. This time the message finished itself. The frozen dots vanished, and one line replaced them. Don't open her door. My knees almost gave way. The warning came too late. My hand was already on the handle. And then it happened. The door to your room opened on its own. Just a few inches, slow and silent. Enough for a sliver of darkness to spill into the hallway. Enough for me to see that someone inside was holding the knob from the other side. I staggered back, unable to breathe. The whisper at the front door hissed, more urgent now. Close it, before you lose her. At the same time, the breath in your room grew louder. Whoever stood inside had not moved forward, had not spoken, but they wanted me to know they were there. They wanted me to hear them. The choice split me in two. Shut the front door and risk what waited inside your room. Push into your room and risk the trap already set there, or stand frozen until one of them chose for me. My queen, my hands shook as both doors hung half open, shadows stretching from each side, pulling me apart.